Hey, it's Nathan Baird from cleveland.com here after Ohio State's 22-10 victory over Northwestern at Lucas Oil Stadium in the Big Ten championship game. That is 4 consecutive Big Ten championships for Ohio State. I want to talk a little bit about defense because it's something that got overlooked today with Trey Sermon running all over the place and some of the issues that Justin Fields had and just the way this game played out. But Ohio State obviously doesn't win this game without its defense, and this defense has become, I think, a big part of the argument as to why this morning, Sunday, as you guys are watching this, is why Ohio State will be picked to go to the college football playoff. We thought coming into the season that defense was where there was going to have to be some progression on this team. I would argue that it has not been the progression that they have needed on a consistent basis, especially from the secondary. There are still some holes in the secondary. There are still some single positions that slot cornerback and safety where I think a really good team like an Alabama, like a Clemson, are potentially going to exploit those matchups, and those are some things that Ohio State still has to work on here in the next 2 weeks. However, I think you saw today, and I think the committee saw today as they watch this game, that this is a veteran defense with playmakers. You saw Justin Hilliard, a guy who's a 6th-year senior who doesn't even usually start for this team, has been pressed into starting service the last 2 weeks, filling in for guys, comes up with 2 huge plays, the interception in the end zone and in recovering the fumble that was forced by another senior leader on this team, Pete Werner, a guy who's having a really underrated season on defense, but I think it's the kind of guy that the committee recognizes when they watch games. And then Josh Proctor, Ohio State had 3 safeties out for today. Marcus Hooker was a game-time decision, did not play. Ronnie Hickman was not listed even as a game-time decision, warmed up for this game, did not play. Bryson Shaw, a guy who was back there as kind of last resort against Michigan State and didn't look that great, frankly, but another piece of the depth, he wasn't able to play. He was on the unavailable list. So they're down to Proctor and a freshman, Lathan Ransom. And early on, I thought safety was an issue, but they stiffened up, and Proctor came up with a big interception when Ohio State needed it. This defense has grown in some ways over the course of the year. The tackles obviously provided the foundation. The linebackers are going to be, I think, game in and game out pretty solid. The defensive ends were creating some pressure today. We'll see, though. 2 of those guys are unavailable. Tyreek Smith got hurt, so we'll see where that defensive line is by the time they get around to playing a playoff game if they're selected. But I still think this defense factors into the equation. Every week Gary Barta, the chair of the committee, comes out and talks about how great the offense is, how high-powered it is, Justin Fields, etc. I think the defense can plausibly be an argument in favor of Ohio State making the playoff when those are announced later today.